Okay. Now we have a 13Q and a 7Q. This is quite a gap. Okay, so we'll just see how it goes. Open corners. Oh, gonna be a bully. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's a good move. It's a good move. Base. White for black, your habits right now should be trying to make bases. So when it's one-on-one, you want to think about your base and white space. So you could go here and then try to take white space, and then focus on making your own bases after that, or you can just make your own base directly, threatening to take your opponent's base, which is also an idea. But for black right now, we want to learn how to make bases and to keep an eye on them. White, I would say probably this is not the point we want. It is a point for this corner, but it also gives black a very nice pincer here. So usually I don't want my opponent to have such easy moves. If I take the base, then you can go here. So this is tricky. What about just defending yourself? Should be okay. Um, okay, I'm reading too much, so let's just see how it goes. But typically giving your opponent such an easy double meaning move is usually not good. So making a base while pincering would be the answer for black here. This is good to cut, but we want to play defense first. So now same difference, except now it's the opposite, where white is making base while pincering black. This is quite good for white. Okay, basic just uh-oh. Second line cuts. Very important. Very important. Okay, good. Make your ice base. Uh Black, don't worry about sealing stuff directly like this. Surround it on like a very large scale. So maybe something like this. And then I don't know, come back and attack this, and later try to get some large scale surround. You actually want black to try to live here, because if black lives here, it means you get to attack it, and attacking is profitable. So I wouldn't try too hard to seal this, because at this point now your opponent can let you kill it and get all the forcing moves, right? Get all the forcing moves. And this is actually only a little bit of points. It's a lot of points, still good for white, but as soon as black gets all this stuff on the outside, this is a bad example, but usually if you can get the stuff on the outside in exchange for the stones, then it cancels out the value. So it's actually less valuable if white tries to keep it. So it's a good way to handle dead stuff is if your opponent wants it, give it to them and get something else to cancel it out. Careful, this is a knight into a knight. Just fix. Just fix. Don't be fancy. I understand that this is a ladder, but it's bad habits. Fix your cutting points directly. This leads to much stronger shape. Strong shape is good for attacking from. So let's say later we want to look at this cutting point. This has a lot more liberties to poke this shape. And compared to, let's say, this one, we try to do something similar. We actually have a lot less liberties to work with. So strong shape is better. Strong shape is just better. Nice pincer. Okay, good. A little greedy, but possible. We want to do the pincer again. I think it's a good lesson to learn about the pincers that make a base. So if you can make eye shape, so you can play defense eye shape while also taking your opponent's base, that's a nice point to get to. So I think the pincer to make a base while attacking, I think is a nice lesson for both players. Don't do this. This is a bad shape. Always approach it. Don't armpit. So if the shoulder is the outside, the armpit's on the inside, and armpits stink. The reason for this is it's actually quite low liberties for white, so it sets up potential Tesujis, for example, the double Hane. Now in this case, it's a little more complex, but typically it's just bad shape for you. Even if I just connect right here, you have low liberties, and you can do that, and then it gets surrounded. So it's quite annoying of a shape, so it's just typically just bad. So we just don't want to do it. Just play this. It's a lot more liberties, so it's a lot better shape. No, don't make 2-point eyes. Runaway comes first. So here you've gotten yourself in trouble because we tried to Tanuki a weak group. It's very speedy go, but you gotta realize that you have to pay tax on this. In order to play like this, you have to be able to handle your weak group very, very quickly. But it looks like you're getting yourself in trouble, and also living with 2 points is much worse than just running away. Running away with a 1-point jump is much better. Oh, I wonder if you were thinking. I wonder if you were thinking that this was a ladder breaker. Because it's not. But I don't know. I can't read your mind, so maybe you did, maybe you didn't. This is very nice for black. Unsettle, and then stay on the weak group. So you unsettle white, and now you can run while surrounding white. Aggressive defense is very powerful. It's a single-digit Q concept, but using your opponent's weak group to live in Sente is a very powerful way to play defense. Otherwise, if we do not know that, then we should be just playing straight up defense. We should just run away. 1-point jumps are really good for that. Just playing defense and then attacking your opponent's basis groups can get you to single digit Q. That and watching your cutting points, obviously, like second line cuts and stuff. But just defense and attacking from strength is really, really powerful. But if you attack from weakness, that's when things can backfire. That's when bad things happen. So this is still a weaker because it does have a base, and you are playing a Knight's Move, which is a cuttable shape. You are also surrounding white, so it's a difficult fight, but difficulty can easily lead to misreads. I much prefer to attack with strength, so if I do this and then 1-point jump right here, and what I'm threatening is now to maybe play a cap like this, and now I'm attacking with a much more solid shape, which is super, super dangerous for your opponent because they need the weakness in order to survive efficiently. Okay. I think this is all going good for black because white played too speedy and now is paying for it. So I think white, you're playing speedy go, but your defense isn't quite up to handling it just yet. I think you need to learn how to use aggressive defense in order to play the style that you're trying to play. Which aggressive defense, like I just said, is live in Sente by using your opponent's weaknesses. But if you live in Gote, it's going to be incredibly painful to do this with two groups at the same time. Careful, black, you are getting yourself cut. Don't try to get greedy and attack from a weak group. This is way too early. White's not alive, so we can still surround this. Black doesn't have a base yet, and we can still be surrounded, so I still want to defend this. And this group is also not fully alive yet, too, so there's 3 weak groups right here. If we look at the eye shape and the base and the ability to get surrounded, we can say that there's 3 weak groups. So absolutely not time to Tanuki yet. Oh, another speed move. There's three weak groups on the right, and we're going to play another Tanuki. Also, don't go here though. In this shape, the moves are going to be A or B. These are the shape moves. B is the simpler one. So if you go here, you have the Nobi to make life, or you can wedge. You need both ladders for this though. And then here it leads to the similar shape as the wedge. Again, you need both ladders. Otherwise, and then also black could choose to just go for the surround and get the influence, but it's very dangerous. It does require a lot of good reading. But those are the 2 points for this shape. This one, black can actually connect under quite easily. So this is too nice to your opponent. I can just Tanuki right now, actually. This is too nice to your opponent. It's too easy for black to respond. Black, you want to play 1-point jumps to cut your opponent, rather than Nobis. Nobis are a little slow. It's good that it's connected, but a little slow. Don't Nobi bump your head. That's bad liberties. Hanes lead to dead groups. There's too many weak groups on this board. Okay, let's see. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And depending on how this goes, could be 7. At least 6 weak groups right now. Okay, so 6. And if white cuts, it is 7. So incredibly complicated. I just want everyone to play defense. Defense is very powerful. Whoever survives first gets to attack the other player, everyone on the board. So if you can survive quickly, then you get to control the game. Making a base is good, but I want it on the 3rd line when I don't have support, and I do not right here. Okay. Try to. This one is a little bit better because empty triangles have low liberties, and this is not cuttable. Don't play the star point just because it's a star point. This is a distraction move. If you want to play on the left, it's approach, but I think you should be focusing on cutting and surrounding the baseless groups. Those are the keys here. Don't armpit hit. Connecting your weak groups would be definitely the move to do right now. And then later you can look at cutting your opponent. Don't go for the eye shape until it's surrounded. Surround it before you even worry about something like this. Fixing the cut is good. Still like 4 or 5 weak groups on the board, but okay. Yep, defense, defense. That is a cuttable shape. That is a cuttable shape. Very cuttable. Uh-oh. Something's about to die. Oh. Why are we not cutting? This is interesting. So white, you like to play super speedy, but you're not attacking your opponent. So I think the problem with your game is likely going to be you are getting to the big moves like super fast, but you're not utilizing or your opponent's weakness or attacking your opponent's weakness. So I think you have some attacking issues with your strategies or skills. So your Tanuki can be fine. It's complicated, requires a lot of go problems to be able to fight. But if you are not able to do the attack and defense, then your over Tanuki is actually going to get you in a lot of trouble. So you have to be very careful about that. This is big locally, but I feel like there's something here. This is just my instincts, like my 2 seconds reading, right? So I want to say there's something here for white. This feels very cuttable. So my instincts say that look here first. Now black had to fix, so I don't know. It feels like we were too nice for black. Don't Nobi peep. Nobi peeps are bad. Helps your opponent, hurts you. Because Nobi into a wall lowers your liberties. And also you have fixed your opponent's Aji. You use the Aji to survive. Let's see, what's a good way to do it? Just run away. Just run away. We're also cutting black. That's the simple answer, and simple is usually good. Good for eye shape, but bad for running away. And running away is more important than eye shape. Very nice surround. Be cautious with the Knight's move, though. You are playing a Knight's move from a weak group, so you have to be very cautious about this. So a little bit stronger shape would be to play a diagonal. Because we're staying on the weak group. We're attacking from the weak group, so that way we can play defense. This is too slow. Oh, don't Nobi Peep. It helps your opponent so much. This is now black is super solid. Don't Nobi Peep. Oh my gosh, 3. Oh, it helps your opponent so much. You lose all of the Aji, all of the peeps, all of the potential cuts in the future, all of the potential Tasujis, whatever. You lose all of it when you do this peep, and you don't really gain much from the Nobi. Okay, this is good endgame, and if everything's alive, I'm not convinced that it is, but if everything's alive, then this is good timing, I think. So yeah, once everything's alive, then we're good to go. This does not work when we can be Atari'd, which I think you learned. Just play the normal diagonal. This is common for the star point. I believe you should know this shape. where they approach, you play the knight, and then they slide, and then you block with the 3/3. So this is a shape that you need to know from that Joseki, which is it can be cut sometimes. This has a base, so there's not really much point surrounding it. This is just cutting points everywhere. So I think now we don't know what to do. So I think the hint is once everybody's alive, in the second half of middle game, once everybody's alive, just go for in-game. And in-game is second line Sente, first line Sente, push the borders in Sente, and then big move. So for black, that will probably look like this. This. Not a lot of Sente, unfortunately. Push the border in Sente, push the border in Sente. This one is now good. And then play big move. Something along those lines. This is a peeped 1-point jump. There's cutting points everywhere. It's interesting to build the influence, but this is the second half of middle game. There's no reason to build this because it's too small of an open section now. White, black, white, black, white, black. So the center is now Dame because everyone shared it. If it was an open center, that would be different. But in a closed center, which means there's no groups to be attacked anymore, it's just not worth it anymore. What? This is the chicken move. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't develop chicken move habits. It'll really hurt you in the long run if you develop chicken move habits. Yeah, looks like black in game. Don't push diagonals. Bad habit. Uh-oh. What? Oh, there we go. We realized. Okay, playing too fast. 45-minute game, so should be able to see this. At least white should be able to see this, I think, which means you're probably playing too fast. Very common mistake is after move 60 or 70, which is about this area. So as we're wrapping up the late middle game, it is very common for players to speed up because you've spent a lot of time here, you're getting tired mentally, and you just want to be done, so you start playing faster. But that leads to mistakes because playing fast is going to obviously lead to more mistakes. So it's very, very common past move 60 and 70 for some mistakes to happen. So if you're actually losing the game, take your time and be patient. Your opponent will likely make a mistake between move like 60 and 120. There's probably going to be a chance to make a comeback. As long as you are playing like solid and correct moves, your opponent will give you an opening. But if you're playing fast as well and leaving cutting points and playing slow moves, then you're the one also giving things, giving chances. So I think this is a bad habit of not taking your time near the end of the game, which is very common. So it's a good lesson to learn because you potentially could have missed a very large mistake. And if black had fixed it because you gave black the chance, you would have lost an opportunity for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, like 20 points. So potentially a 20-point mistake from just playing too fast. Yeah, I think endgame is not the most important skill for black to work on. Not at 13Q. I think it's going to be attacking the baseless groups was likely going to be the big lesson here. Checking the cuts is good, but yeah, not quite. White, don't play the Gote moves, play the Sente moves. Sente is so important in endgame. It is the most important thing. All right, we're pretty much out of time, so hopefully you both found this review helpful.